Hello, everybody. We're going to start today's presentation in just a moment. We're going to get started with today's presentation, New Liferay DXP Features, Form Builder. My name is Mallory Durigi. I am Marketing Manager here at Dunn Solutions. We're going to do a quick run-through of today's agenda. We're going to do an introduction of Dunn Solutions, go over the Velocity Virtuous Cycle. Then we're going to introduce today's topic, go over Liferay Forms, notable elements and features, and then do a demo, and then leave time for questions and answers afterwards. Dunn Solutions is a digital transformation consultancy. Our mission is to bring velocity to our customers. Velocity is made up of two components, speed and direction. After all, if you want to move fast, you want to move fast in the right direction. We bring speed through automation and direction through analytics. Dunn Solutions has 3 offices. Our headquarters are in Chicago. We have a secondary office in Minneapolis and a remote office in Bangalore, India. The Velocity Virtuous Cycle. We believe every organization needs velocity, and velocity enables the virtuous cycle. The Velocity Virtuous Cycle is a feedback loop that uses the vast amounts of data created through process automation to provide insight through analytics. Those insights are then, through automation, fed back into the business process for improvement and optimization. And with that, I hand over to today's presenter, Iyad Eyong. He's a project lead here at Dunn Solutions, and he's going to introduce today's topic.
Hey, hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to show you the features of Liferay Forms in Liferay DXP 7.1. So for those of you who have experience working with web forms in Liferay in version 6, you'll find that forms in Liferay DXP 7.1 is a drastic improvement over what it was in version 6. Liferay completely reimagined and rebuilt its form features from the ground up, starting with the release of DXP 7.0. And with the release of 7.1, there's drastic improvements and there's enhanced user experiences introduced. Okay, so with Liferay Forms, which is a form builder, there are a list of form elements that you can choose from. Some of the typical ones will be like text fields, selection from a list, multiple selections, date, etc. With Liferay Forms in DXP, you also now have the option to upload a document to the form. Some of the notable features, it has a drag and drop interface for the form builder, so you can just pick the form elements and you can just add it to your forms on the fly. And it supports multi-page forms, so if your forms requires like a step 1, step 2, step 3 process, you can have multiple pages added. It supports conditional rules. You can define a rules to check for certain conditions and perhaps show or hide a certain form element. Validation is supported. You can validate the values inputted by the end users. You can integrate with external data providers to pull in data from external data sources and populate it on, for example, like a drop-down menu. Element sets available for you to save a set of form elements for use or reuse by multiple forms. And of course, email notifications and the ability to enable captcha. These are just some of the features that are provided by Liferay Forms Form Builder. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to turn over to a live demo All right, so what you're seeing here is Liferay DXP 7.1, and I have built a form to collect customer feedback. So I created a form called Customer Satisfaction Survey. I have the ability to add this form on a page like I have here, or there's the option to show the form on a standalone page like it is here. So I built this form to just hope to gather some customer feedback on the products and services that we provide. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill it out as one of our customers. There's like a test field here. Should really have removed that. So date of visit, I'll just put March 1st. And I can pick on the option here and say how I hear about this company. So I can choose like employees, friends, or I could have found out from Google, email, etc. So notice that if I select employees, I get to choose from a list of employees on the list. If I pick like friends, then that option can go away. So this is one of the fields that is configured for the conditional behavior. So if an employee is selected, then the employee name field will be showing. So I'm just going to select employee 1, and I'm given this table here to select from like a score of from a scale of 1 to 5. So I'm going to rate customer service as 5, ease of use maybe like a 4, product quality maybe a 4, and speed of delivery, and I can pick 5. And I'm also given an option to upload a picture of my visit. So I'm just going to select one of the pictures here, like maybe like this one. Looks good. And notice that this is a repeatable field. So I have another picture that I want to upload, and I can click on this button right here to add another one. So this time I'm going to pick this one. And then I'm just going to go ahead and submit the form. And that's it. So now we're going to take a look at how this form was built. So I'm going to navigate back to the site and using the product menus on the left-hand side. And the forms can be edited in the site administration under the content section, and you'll find forms there. And you'll see our customer satisfaction survey form there. So I'm just going to click on that so that it renders in the form builder. All right, so you'll see all of those fields that we saw earlier on the form page. And I have the options to add the following list of form elements. So first, I'm just going to want to go ahead and delete this test field here. Like it really shouldn't be there. So I just hover over on this field and click on the trash can icon and confirm that I want to delete it. And next, I want to add another field to perhaps capture the customer's email address. Perhaps I can send them a coupon or send them like a follow-up survey or things like that. So I'm going to drag this text field over here and label it as email. And I want to make it a required field, so I can just toggle this button here to make it required. And I want to make sure that they're entering email address in the correct format. So I can actually turn on validation and say if input is not an email address, then we can show an error message, and I get to customize this message. And I will just say, please enter a valid email address. Right, and just click away, and this field is configured. And I can move this field around, and so by default, it takes the full width of this form page, and I can actually resize it like this and make it take up different space. So I actually like it displayed next to the date of visit field, and perhaps like take the remaining space for that row. So simple as that, I can resize this form field pretty easily. And don't worry if you are on a device with smaller screen like a mobile phone. These fields will collapse nicely. So if I resize my screen, and you will see that multiple fields that are displayed on a row will collapse and display on a single row on a smaller screen. So the entire form still looks really nice on a smaller screen, for example, like a mobile phone. Another cool feature that Liferay Form provides is that the ability to populate drop-down options, select box options from an external data source. And here, for employee names, I'm actually getting the options from a data provider that I defined called Liferay Employee and Users. And I'm pulling all the Liferay employee users and display the names in the employee name dropdown. Now, so let me show you how the data provider is defined. So actually, I should save the forms before I navigate out of it. Otherwise, I might lose my changes. So save that and navigate outside to the Forms Administration screen, and click on the Options menu in the upper right corner, and click on Data Providers, and you'll find the Liferay Employee Users Data Provider there. There, I have defined the specified the endpoint where I have a JSON web service. In this case, some of you may know Liferay expose some of its services as web services, and we can actually call Liferay's web service to get information such as a list of users. In this case, we're getting a list of users from a particular user group called employees. You can provide the username and password to log into this web service, and it supports the basic authentication. So, and here, pulling the results, and I say the first names of the Liferay users will output it to the name field, which can be referenced in the form. And in the employees user groups, I have these 3 employees there, employee 1, 2, and 3. So that's why you will see them show up on here. If I remove employee 3 from the employees user group, and then I refresh the customer satisfaction survey form, you will see that employee 3 has been removed from the list. So this data updates dynamically based on real-time data that you have in your Liferay instance. So this is very important, and this keeps things consistent. All right, and I'm going to navigate back to the form builder. So go back to site administration, content, go back to forms, and to continue and take a look at the form, the customer satisfaction survey form. So another thing that I want to point out is that notice the employee name field is not always showing. it depends on the values in the previous form field, like how did you feel about us. So we were able to conditionally show and hide this field by configuring a rule. So in DXP 7.1, Liferay Forms comes with a form builder, so which allows me to define rules, conditional rules for the form. So here I have a rule defined saying if this field value is equal to employee, then show the employee name field. So if you take a look at how this is defined, you can define a condition saying if this field is equal to this value, and you can pick a different value as well, and perform this action. The action is to show and the employee name field. It can be any other field. And you can add multiple conditions. If all of these conditions needs to be true, then it will be an AND. If just one of these conditions need to be true, then you will change it to an OR. You can also perform multiple actions. You can show this, enable particular field, or even making a particular field a required field based on the conditions that you have defined here. So with this rule engine, it allows you to build conditional rules and to customize the behaviors based on user actions or user inputs. All right, so let me navigate back to the form and to talk about the next form element, which is this sort of like table here. So this is a form element called grid. It allows you to quickly create like a scoring table like this. You define the rows and define the columns. So for example, I want to add another area that I want the customers to rate on. I can just click on these options and just add one, maybe like called value. The next open input box will be available as soon as you enter a value, so it dynamically updates, and which is, in my opinion, is a very nice user experience. Another thing that I might want to change is instead of rating on a scale of 1 to 5, I may want to spell it out more explicitly to the user. So perhaps I want to rename this to like poor, fair, good, very good, excellent. And then you will see all of that updates on the fly, and you can see it on the form right away. So I also want to change the label, perhaps on a scale of 1 to 5, then I don't have to mention that because it is self-explanatory. So I just remove that. Okay. And save the form. Right. There are additional feedback that I would like to gather from the customer, but I think this form is getting too long, and I want to add another step to it. So I can actually add another page so that I have additional form elements displayed on the next page instead. So I want to add another text field here to gather additional feedback from the customer. So I would like to add the label like additional comments. And since I expect them to type in a paragraph or so, I can change this to multi-line, so this becomes more of a text area. All right, and perhaps I will also want to collect the address of this customer as well. Perhaps I may send them some marketing materials, or send them some coupons in regular mail. So I want to add an address field in here. And what I did is that I created form element sets, because those address fields could perhaps be used on other forms as well. So element set is a feature that allowed me to predefine a set of fields as like a collection, and I can reuse them on other forms. So here I have the address element set. I have address line 1, line 2, city, state, and zip code. State, notice I'm populating from a data provider, a US state. And Liferay also provides like a web service to get like regions or states for a country. So it basically define a data provider to give me those list of US states. Right, so now I can add the address element sets to my customer satisfaction survey. So I'm going to go there and click on the add button again. And instead of elements, I will add element set, and I pick this address element set, and all of those address fields now appear on this page. So if you have 10 different forms that need address, you don't have to be repeatedly creating these fields. And of course, I can still edit these fields if I want to. Perhaps I don't want to make address like a requirement, so I will just make them not required. So this becomes like an optional field for the customers who's filling this out. All right. And also want to provide some feedback to the customers after they submit the form. So now you have the option to add a success page. So that's what I'm going to do. And the title, I'm just going to say like submitted. And I can say thank you for submitting your feedback. All right, and go ahead and save the form. And let's preview the form and see how it looks like. You'll see that your changes reflect there right away. And to get the direct URL to your form, you can click on this copy URL link there, and I can just copy that. And if you enter that in your browser, it will take the user to that form right away. And so I'm just going to fill this out again and pick a date of visit. And notice if I, let's say, enter some invalid data in the email field, now I have the validation enabled. It will tell me that please enter a valid email address. Okay. Can pick employee again and choose one of the employees. And this scoring table has been updated. So you can say customer service is excellent, ease of use very good, product quality very good, speed of delivery excellent, value is also excellent. And again, upload a picture. I'm just going to do one this time. And I can go to the next step. Ask me to enter my address and additional comments. I can say like great products. And I'm just going to leave the address blank for now. submit the form, and your custom success page is now shown. Submitted. Thank you for submitting your feedback. Right? So as you can see, creating forms in Liferay DXP using the form builder is very simple. It supports a lot of features. You can do a ton of things with it. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. That's the end of the demo. So I'll turn it back to Mallory.
If you have any portal needs, and if you want to see if Liferay DXP is a fit for your business, our email is below. You can also, if you have any questions, you can contact any of us here with any additional questions about today's presentation. Thank you, everybody.